This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, all.
Good morning.
Morning. So yesterday we had discussed about, we started with the organization structure. That is, we first have added the responsibilities required to create our organization structure. That is, we have created a responsibility for HRMS, created a responsibility for GL, and we have created a responsibility for inventory. And later we have added all these responsibilities to our user. And as a part of this business organization setup, first we have created a business group. Now we have to create our legal entities ledgers. But in order to create ledgers, what are the components required for ledgers? What are the components required for ledgers here? What are the main components required for ledgers? That is, we need to have, where is that? Yeah. Components required for our ledger is chart of accounts, calendars. So first we need to configure these two components, then only we'll be able to configure our primary ledgers. So first I'm going to create, meaning as a part of this structure only, after creating the business groups, create accounting calendar. Accounting calendar is basically used to determine periods for your financial year. Meaning, in short, using this accounting calendar, we are going to define our financial year. Then, after this, we'll create chart of accounts. And moreover, this concept of creating accounting calendar, creating the chart of accounts, creating the primary ledgers in real time, all these tasks are going to be performed by financial people. But we'll just create all the entities, what are all is required for us to create our organization structure. After creating this chart of accounts, then we'll create our accounting setups. Now, as a part of this accounting setups, we'll create legal entities, primary ledgers, assign legal entities to primary ledgers, assign balancing segment values to legal entities, and finally we are going to compile this. Okay. Now let us start by creating your calendar. Okay, login. So first we'll see how do we create calendars. The calendar is basically used to determine periods for our financial year. Yeah. We have created a user as GSS, right? And these are all the responsibilities which are assigned to this user. Now I'm going to GSSGL, select any form to connect with form server. Now navigation to create our calendar here is setup, financials, calendars. First you define calendar types, meaning as a part of this accounting setups, as a part of this creation of your accounting calendar, first create period types, then create calendar. Now, when I'm going to create a calendar, first of all, I need to define my period type. How many number of periods required for your calendar, whether you are going to create your financial year by weekly, quarterly, monthly. Say accordingly, we have to decide the number of periods. So here, when I'm going to create my period type, setup, financials, calendars, types. Here, what is the name of the period type is GSSPT, and number of periods per year, meaning I wanted to define calendar by months. So I'm going to set this as what? Periods per year is 12 and year type is calendar, meaning I'm going to define a calendar by monthly. Save this. And most of the companies, they define the calendar by monthly only. So I'm going to define the calendar by monthly. Now you define your accounting calendar. The navigation to define our accounting calendar is setup, financials, calendars, and accounting. This is my calendar, GSS calendar. And here you define the periods ranging from Jan to December, meaning I'm defining a calendar from Jan to December, or this fiscal year is going to be different from one country to another country. Like in India, it is from April to March. In US, it is Jan to December, and in UK, it is September to August, likewise. So, but I'm defining from Jan to December. The year is fiscal year is 2021, and this Jan is going to come under which quarter of this fiscal year is first quarter. This is my first period, and you give the date range of this period, meaning which transactions are going to come under this period is the transactions which are recorded on 1st Jan to 31st Jan, and this is the name of the period. And this is here. Like this, we have to define all the 12 periods, meaning we have to define the definition of all the 3 periods. But Feb is also going to come under which quarter here? First quarter, and this is second period of the calendar. And what is its date range is Feb 21 to 28 Feb 20. 28 Feb 21, and this is March. This is also same year, and this is also going to come under first quarter, third period. This is 1st March 21 to 31st March 21, and this is April. But April, May, June are going to come under my second quarter. So it is compulsory to divide your financial year by 4 quarters. So this is my second quarter to 30 April 21. This is May. This is also my second quarter, fifth period. This is 1st May to 20. This is June. And July
Number
is
is
going to
6.
come under.
Number is 6 June.
Yeah. You're correct. You're correct. This is going to come under third quarter. This is, I'll just modify this actually. This is 1st July 21 to 31st July 21. Now here, I'll just modify. This is 6. This is 7. July, August. This is 1st August 21 to 31st August. This is also third quarter, 9th period. This is 1st September 21 to 30th. This is going to come under my fourth quarter.
First October.
Hello?
October is 31, right?
I am sorry here. This is 31 October, November. This is 1st November 21 to 30th November 20. And this is my last period for this year. Fine. This is my accounting calendar. Save this. So before defining the accounting calendar, first we have defined the period tab, and then we have defined our accounting calendar. Now I am going to define my chart of accounts. What is this chart of accounts is about is this one. So here, this is my chart of accounts. Company, division, location, department, account. So how many number of, these number of segments are going to be created based on our functional axis, that is companies, divisions, because we wanted to secure the financial transactions at every level. Say accordingly, we are going to plan our this. Now I'm going to show you how do you create this chart of accounts. To create our chart of accounts, set up financials, flex fields, key segments. Set up financials, flex fields, key segments. This is the navigation to create our chart of accounts. And here, just to press Ctrl F11, it is going to identify your which key flex field here. accounting flex field. So before going ahead, let me just give a brief introduction to what are these flex fields. Flex fields are flexible fields which are used to capture business information of the organization. Meaning I said it is a flexible fields. Flexible fields. Now, why do you need flexible fields? Now, just as I told you that here we planned to create how many segments here? Company, division, location, branch, and account. This is the complete accounting information of which company, which enterprise here? GE, right? Now, this functional axis, will it be divided as same like company, division, location, branch, and account for all the other businesses, or the functional requirement is going to be different from one enterprise to another enterprise? Meaning here I have created the segments as company, division, location. Do you think that all the companies will create with the same number of segments? The functional requirement, will it be same, or is it going to be different from one company to another company? So this functional axis is going to be different from one company to another company. Maybe according to GE, we have created 5 segments, but for others, maybe you need 6 segments, 8 segments, 10 segments. So the requirement will differ. So what Oracle has done is, instead of fixing the number of fields for all the businesses, they have provided an object called as flex field, so that we can configure the fields as per our functional requirement. So here accounting flex field is one of the flex field which is basically used to create your accounting structures, meaning to capture your accounting information. Like this, we have 30 plus key flex fields which are going to come from the applications, like job flex field, position flex field, asset flex field, locator flex field. Like this, we have 30 key flex fields. And meaning what Oracle has done is, wherever the business or the functional requirements will differ from one company to another company, in all these areas, application has provided the concept of flex fields, so that we can create the fields as per our business requirement. And to create our chart of accounts, we are going to use which one? Accounting flex field. So the navigation to open this accounting flex field is setup, financials, flex fields, key, segments. Just control F11 where you'll be able to see this accounting flex field. Now take the cursor position onto the structures. Take the cursor position onto the structures. Just click on create. Here you'll be able to create your accounting structure. Now here this is GEGSS chart of accounts. GEGSS chart of accounts. Now click on segments. Click on segments. And here we are going to plan how many segments you need here. Meaning for each structure, meaning the structure which is created for Tata, the number of segments is different. The structure which is created for GE, maybe the number of segments are going to be different. Here I'm naming the segments as company. And here you can start using the segments like segment 1, meaning application provides these segments. Like maximum for accounting flex field, we have 30 segments. But the number of segments might differ from one key flex field to another key flex field. For accounting flex field, we have 30 segments, but we are going to use only 5 segments. But till now, there is no company which is using not even half of these segments, because 30 meaning it's more than enough actually. And we should always use the segments from segment 1, segment 2, segment 3. Since we have 30, you cannot choose your lucky segments. You have to always use only the segments in order, like segment 1, segment 2, segment. Like this, I'm going to create company, division, this is segment 2, this is location, segment 3, department, segment 4, segment 4, this is account, this is segment 5. So we created 5 segments. Now we have to now secure values to these segments, meaning we have to define values for companies, values for divisions, meaning what list of companies we have, what list of divisions you have. So when I'm going to define the list of values for company, with what validations you wanted to define the values, meaning it should provide some list of predefined values, or the value should come from a table, or a value should be a range of values. So with what validation you wanted to secure the values under these segments, that can be determined by your value set. So for every segment, before you secure the values, with what validations you wanted to secure the values, to define the validations, we have to create our value sets. So after creating the segments, now I'm going to define 5 value sets separately for each and every segment and associate those value sets to these segments. So click on value sets to define our value sets. Now, when I'm defining the value sets, value set, validation types. One of the validation type is independent. Validation type is independent. So when the validation type is independent, we define predefined values, meaning it is independent and we define predefined values, meaning we will be able to use only those values which are defined in this independent. We cannot select any, or we cannot enter any new value. We are supposed to select a value from the given list. Now we have dependent, independent, dependent. Now if it is an dependent for dependent also we define predefined values based on independent values. Say for example, here we have companies like Motors and IT Solutions, and here in the division we have created the divisions as cars, trucks, development, consultancy. But if you see, these cars and trucks are the divisions of Motors. Development and consultancy are the divisions of IT Solutions. Now what is my requirement here is, when I select Motors in the division list, I should get only these 2 values, meaning the values of the division should be dependent on my company here. When I select IT Solutions in the list, I should get only these 2 values. Like this, if you wanted to define the values, then we'll be using this dependent value set. So dependent, we define predefined values. Here also the user cannot enter any value. We have to provide some predefined values based on my independent values. And we have other validations as format only, or none. None meaning, if I use none method, we can enter any value to this value set. We can enter any value, meaning there is no validation at all. And we have table. Table meaning here we retrieve the values from a table, meaning from the database tables. And here we have subset. Here we accept range of.
I think this is from Fusion, I think so, sir. Subset is there in.
Here it is pair. Instead of subset, it is pair, meaning we accept a range of values. So what is this range of values meaning? Here when you wanted to accept the values of a segment in range, like any 2 dates or any numbers or weekdays, meaning when you wanted to accept the range of values, we will be using this pair validation. So like this, these are, but when you are creating the chart of accounts, we are restricted to use either independent or dependent. We cannot use other validation types, but other validation types will be using it for different purposes. When I'm going to discuss about locators, category flex fields in inventory, that time I'll discuss about it. But here it is not possible for us to use other validations, especially when I'm going to create validations to my chart of accounts segments. So we should always use independent. Now I'm going to use independent for all here. Here I'm going to create, this is GEGSS company value set. Here length I'm giving as 3 characters. That is why only 3 characters. So according to this, the length of this code 101, 102, meaning this is the length. That is, I wanted to accept only numbers, and that too only 3 digits. So here I'm going to define maximum size is 3, numbers only, and write justify and zero fill numbers. Okay, if I don't enable write justify, if I say 1, it will be accepted as only 1. But any number which I'm going to accept should be made up of 3 characters. Then if I enable write justify, then what happens is when I enter 1, it automatically formats this as, it is always going to ensure that the length of the code is 3 characters. Even if I enter 1, it is going to convert that number as 001. Like this, you can define write justify and zero fill numbers. So it is a character, numbers, write justify, and these format validations again different from company to company or segment to segment. As per our requirement, we can set up this. And I'm going to create independent. Save this. Like this, I'm supposed to plan other value sets. That is create new. This is GGSS. This is division value set. Here also 3 characters, numbers, write justify. This is for division. Next, GGSS location. 3 characters, numbers, write justify. GGSS